It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, 'cause the rich men. I wish politicians look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, north of rich men. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Hello. Whoa, where am I at?
Listless vessels that you're supposed to follow, whatever happens to come down the pike on Truth Social every morning. That's not going to be a durable movement.
Hi, Governor DeSantis.
Mr. DeSantis.
Hey, Governor DeSantis.
Hey, DeSantis.
Hey, DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis. Governor DeSantis.
Hi, Governor DeSantis.
I'm Michael from South Carolina.
My name is Sharon.
My name's Deanna.
Kansas. West Virginia.
Debbie, a Georgia grandmother.
I'm Cher.
This is Dave in Vermont.
We're from Rockwood, Maine.
Sherry from the state of Hawaii.
I've been a pastor in Franklin County, Ohio for over 15 years.
I'm a U.S. Navy veteran.
I'm a firefighter and a veteran.
I've been in law enforcement for over 30 years.
I'm a retired nurse in Boone County, Iowa.
A business owner from South Carolina, a mother of 2.
Daughter of a World War II hero.
Mother of a first responder.
And I am definitely not a listless vessel.
I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I am not a listless vessel.
I support Donald Trump because he's great for small business and agriculture in Oregon.
Because in 2016, he showed us what an America First presidency looks like.
Secure borders, strong military, law and order.
He stands for life. He supports Christian values.
Because there's no one else running that would take the slings and arrows for me as he has.
He will lead and put the American people first.
He'll end the scourge of human trafficking and defend the dignity of human life.
He has been our stellar commander-in-chief.
He stands for protecting our children.
Because I know that he can keep his promises.
His priority is America first.
And make America great again.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't make Trump supporters listless vessels.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
Ron DeSantis, I'm not just a listless vessel.
We're Americans.
We're Americans.
I'm a mama bear with 6 kids.
I'm not a listless vessel.
I am not a listless vessel.
I am not a listless vessel.
I am not a
listless vessel.
Listless means lacking energy or enthusiasm. Have you ever been to a Trump event?
I was never deplorable, and I am certainly not a listless vessel.
I'm not a listless vessel.
I'm not a listless vessel.
I'm not a listless vessel. I am not a listless vessel.
I'm not a listless vessel.
I am not a listless vessel.
I'm 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 not a listless vessel.
We are not a listless vessel.
I am not a listless vessel.
I'm not a listless vessel.
I'm not a listless vessel.
Man, we're not
a listless vessel.
I'm not a listless vessel. DeSantis, we are not listless vessels. We are patriots that love this country, and we voted for Trump in 2020, and we're going to vote for him again in 2024.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, there's Mountain Man. Hey, Mountain Man.
I made it back in. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Well, we ready for the big night?
Woo-wee! I am so excited.
So you're going to be streaming it off of Twitter, right?
Yep. Did everybody see the sneak peek that Tucker put out? I got that too. I can play real quick.
Yeah, I saw the one that where he was talking with Trump. Yeah. A preview.
Hold on one second. Sorry, Happy Days. One of my mods had a trigger finger there and blocked you. I'm sorry, what'd you say, Mountain Man?
I said that you were talking about Tucker's preview.
Yeah, he has just a little preview on his Twitter page of the questions he's going to be asking them.
Yeah.
Want me to play it?
Sure.
All right, give me one. Give me 1 second here.
He asked about Epstein.
Yeah, did you see it?
I saw it.
Okay. Hold on.
You see what I'm doing. See if I can see the comments without kicking myself out. Hi, let's see who's here. Jax, Kicking Bird, Robin, Jersey Joe, El Griswold. Hi, Rick. Sharon, Alan, how you doing? Let me see. Gosh, we got a lot of people. Is Diamond Lil coming on tonight?
No, Diamond Lil is on an adventure with her family this evening. All right, let me play this real quick, Mountain Man.
Okay.
Here we go.
Why aren't you at the Fox News debate tonight in Milwaukee?
Well, a lot of people have been asking me that.
When you say there are people on stage who shouldn't be running for president, who do you mean? Whatever happened to Mike Pence? He's out there attacking you. What is that? Do you think Epstein killed himself sincerely? Do you think we're moving towards civil war?
It's good to have you at Bedminster. It's very nice.
I love it. You're saying they stole it from you last time. Why wouldn't they do the same this time?
Oh, well, they'll try. They're going to be trying. Mitch McConnell is trying to get senators to impeach me. Crooked Joe Biden is so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country. I don't think he's going to make it to the gate, but, you never know.
It started with protests against you, and then it moved to impeachment twice.
Right.
And now indictment. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you, honestly?
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict?
I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
Wow.
Boom.
Yeah. Mentioned a lot of touchy stuff there.
I cannot wait to hear the answers. So Tucker did post that he'll be live with this interview at 8:55. So we got some time here.
Yeah. I wonder how long the interview is.
Gideon's Army. Hey, thanks for joining us. Good to see you, Chris. Everybody. I don't know.
Probably an hour.
I know it's pre-recorded.
Yeah. Well, they let out all those mug shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll be talking about that. But unless we really get some good stuff to talk about tonight with this interview, I saw Devin Nunes put something up on True Social where he said will you be watching it? Will you be watching the debates, or will you be watching the Tucker and Trump on Truth, or will you be? Then it said, will you be watching Tucker and Trump on X, or gave all these choices. I didn't know that you could watch it on Truth. I don't know how.
Yeah,
So,
I don't either. I just know I can watch it on Tucker though.
Yeah. And I did hear Trump say, well, we're probably gonna get more rate. He said to Tucker, you're gonna probably get more ratings on this silly little platform or something like that.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
You know what though? This is going to be proof in the pudding here, because the debates aren't going to get the views that they think they're going to get. I mean, Fox 2 went down to Bedminster begging Trump to come on Fox and do the debates.
Oh, you did it really?
Yeah.
Well, I saw Don Jr. posted that he was going to be doing his show Triggered about the debates.
I heard he wasn't welcome there either.
Don Jr.?
Yeah.
Let me see if I got a screenshot of that. If I drop off, I'll come back in, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Because that's what happens. I try to navigate my phone and then boop.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Proud Army Mom. Hey, Stacy. Jersey Joe. DeCat. Camperman. Honeyman. Good to see everyone. Are you guys excited? Cupcake Girl, good to see you. Wanda. Kickin' Bird. Miss Minder Sue. Stony.
Well, let's see. I don't want to. There's Jack. Well, I don't want. Let's see. I'll find it. I'm sure it was. It was Don Jr. that said they were doing their show. If I drop out, don't worry, I'll come back.
I was saying he wasn't welcome at the debates tonight.
Oh, well, he's probably having a watch party just like we are.
Oh, of course he is. Hi, Liam from Tennessee. Who did I miss? Brian Smith, good to see you. Hilarious too. Larry Pitts. Tennessee Ridge Runner. He says, I saw where Don Jr. and Kimberly were talking to people outside of where the debates are happening. Matt Gaetz was one of the guests earlier. Okay. Hey, you guys, the only thing I ask is please don't use more than 3 emojis and no trigger words. I want to keep my channel. Thank you. Thank you. And hit the like button. Let's get some more people in here. Hi, Georgia. Oh, Tucker's on now, you said? Okay. Let me get Mountain Man back up here and let me share the screen. He's on, Mountain Man.
Oh, he is?
Yep, hang on a minute.
They're early.
Yeah. Let me just go here. Let me do this.
Can we comment during it? He must have been showing the preview. Up. Nikki, you're muted.
Hang on a minute. Let me see what Tucker's saying here. He said,
okay.
All right, I'll just share it with Yeah, that was earlier before the it's not on yet, Georgia.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we got the other big news is that plane crash in quotation marks. Prigozhin Gosh, what stuff that's happening. Well, I called it last night a Trump associate mass arrest. You have this Khashoggi guy, his plane crashing.
Yeah, that was it confirmed he was on the plane yet?
Different sources saying different things.
Yeah.
But most of them are saying he was on there and that he's dead. But his wife supposedly made a quote, said he wasn't on the plane. He's fine. So who knows? I posted some stuff on my community page about it. Only had like 8 or 10 people look at it.
Oh, Tennessee saying that there's people on the Bumble saying that the plane crash was a false flag.
Oh, really?
Not what it seems said. Did you see Dan Bongino talking about 45 should call their bluff and not show up or post bond? I did see that. It would be interesting if he did it, if I'm being completely honest. They'd have to come and get him and handcuff him.
I think he's already posted a bond.
Do you?
I think. Well, they said it. I don't know if he's actually paid it.
Yeah, wasn't it like 200,000 or something?
Yeah.
It was like chump change for him.
Yeah, Mark. Let's see. What was his name? Not Mark Elias. I think what might have been him was 100,000. One of them was 10,000. We didn't see anything out of two people who was big in the news during that time. And it's Pillow Man and what's his name? Lynn Wood. They are conspicuously absent.
Yeah. I haven't heard about Lynn Wood in forever.
I know he got quiet.
Mm-hmm.
He got real quiet. So anyway, there's a lot of oddball news. I just don't want to. I want to check it up, but I don't want to drop out. But Rudy had a little press conference and telling everybody, you better watch out. This can happen to you.
That's right.
On the flip side.
Happen to any of us. Could happen to them. It's coming. It's a boomerang's coming. There's no doubt.
Yeah. And what's his name? Jack Posobiec put up, do you know Hillary believed Prigozhin stole the 2016 election? I bring this up for no reason whatsoever. But Prigozhin was had a film company, and I mean that was his shtick, was psyops.
Trying to keep up with the chats. They're going crazy.
Yeah.
There's something in here I wanted to ask you.
I say hi to everybody. It's a lot of different names, and I see Georgia said Lynn Wood wasn't helping with the cause. In my opinion, that's true. He wasn't. And if you all remember, Sidney Powell called him out on that, and afterwards, that's when he got quiet. When Sidney Powell said he was being a little bit of a pain. I'll put it that way.
Hi, Angel Rose. Sissy
He
K.
got a glimpse. Oops, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He got a glimpse at some of the things that were going on, just like Juan O'Savin. And both of them started going a little bit overboard. And that's what I got to say about that. Every lie will be revealed and all this kind of stuff, making things sound like something was going to be imminent. But, this is this is like taking out a tumor in the body. It's a cancer. It's a Marxist infiltration. And, excuse me, The cure can't be worse than the disease.
Hey, Marilyn. I have a fan. Is that you? Are you my fan? Yeah. I cannot wait for this tonight, Mountain Man. I am so excited.
Well, it'll be interesting what he says about Epstein and Tucker coming right out saying, bringing up assassination. We've always known that these people are vicious and dangerous, and Trump is communicating that as about as well he can in a civil manner.
I was listening to, before I came live earlier, I was listening to Redacted. Did anybody see that about the Walmart stores that are closed down in Texas and they're housing children?
Yeah, I've heard those stories too.
They're down there. I mean, like trying to film it.
What are they, migrant children?
Yes. They got boys in one closed down Walmart and girls in another. And then they were saying that they were shipping them off to very wealthy people around the world, around the country, I should say, in Florida and upstate New York. It's disgusting.
Well, that's typical do-gooders. They want to be do-gooders and save the world.
Yeah. They don't know where those kids are going, Mountain Man.
No, they don't. And for what purposes?
Right, exactly. He laughs a lot. Hey, John McLaughlin. Good to see you. All right, 8:52.
Well, I got to make sure I got my notepad, because, like I said, nothing conspiracy. It's just the fact of the matter. Tucker's been the one on Fox that's been the hardest hitting, and his daddy was a CIA agent, and I'm sure they've arranged this interview to drop some hints, and we just got to try to catch them.
Yeah. Eam says he needs a maid. Eam, I hope you're joking. You should have put a laughing face after that. You know what? I'll be right back, Mountain Man. Hold the fort down for me. I'm gonna go grab my dad as well.
Okay, who needs a maid?
Eam said it.
Oh, Eam needs a maid? Get a butler.
James.
Let's see. Mr. Joe Biden said 3 minutes. Banjo Bones, how are you doing? So, Camperman's here. How are you, Camperman? I'm just scrolling through chat. A lot of chats have gone by. It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, we almost got 400 people in here.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sure that this big of an interview with these vicious people in Georgia waiting for Trump to trip up, I'm sure that they very carefully crafted a message for us. We just got to make sure we get the message.
Hi, Laddie. Hey, Robin Ward. Bubba Morris! Where have you been? We've been so worried about you, Bubba.
Yeah, Bubba, well, how you doing, buddy?
Please tell me you were on vacation.
Yeah, give us some good news. Where's Bubba? Ah, there we are. Mountaineers. Mountaineers. So I hope everything was all right. Nothing had sideways happen to you.
I'm good. Ben in rehab. Oh, Bubba. I've been praying for you. I've been worried about you.
I'm looking for his response.
He said he's been in rehab.
Oh.
I don't know if he had a fall or what's going on.
Yeah. That can happen.
Yeah. I'm just glad you're here and you're okay. All right, Tucker,
Yep.
come on. It's 8:56.
Keep up your exercises, Bubba. Use it or lose it.
Still just his 2-minute video he had earlier.
Yeah, they're going to show a preview and stuff like that. You know, Posobiec also
Here we
put
go.
out.
Here it is. Here it is. We got it.
Mr. President, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Why aren't you at the Fox News debate tonight in Milwaukee?
Well, you know, a lot of people have been asking me that, and many people said you shouldn't do them, but you see the polls have come out, and I'm leading by 50 and 60 points. And, you know, some of them are at 1 and 0 and 2. And I'm saying, do I sit there for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be, and get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president? Should I be doing that? And a network that isn't particularly friendly to me, frankly. You know, they were backing Ron DeSanctimonious like crazy, and now they've given up on him. I mean, it's a lost cause. It reminded me very much of 2016. You know, in 2016, I went through the same stuff and had to fight them all the way. And then they became very friendly after I won, or just about when I was winning. But I just felt it would be more appropriate not to do the debate. I don't think it's right to do it. If you're leading by 50, 60, I have one problem leading by 70 points. And I'm saying, why am I doing it? And I'm going to have 8 people, 10 people, whoever made the debate. I don't know how many it is, but I'm going to have all these people screaming at me, shouting questions at me, all of which I love answering, I love doing, but it doesn't make sense to do them. So I've taken a pass, as you probably noticed.
Well, I did. I'm grateful that you did. It's interesting, though, because you spent a lot of your career in television.
Yeah.
You had a top show in television on NBC. But you don't feel the need now running for president to do television, obviously. Do you think television is declining?
Well, according to a poll that I guess we just saw, it just came out where it's down like 30, 35%. But I think they were referring to cable. I think cable's down because it's lost credibility. MSNBC, or as they say, MSDNC, is so bad. It's so wrong what they write and what they do and what they say. It's, you know, it's fake news, as I said. I think I came up with that term. I hope I did, because it's a good one. It's not tough enough anymore. It's corrupt news. You know, really what you do is call it corrupt news, but somehow that doesn't play as nicely. But it is corrupt news. So you have MSNBC and you have CNN, who's absolutely doing no ratings at all. I mean, they're dead. But they're doing none because they don't have credibility. They really don't have credibility. Fox is way down, as you know. And the good old days are long ago. I will say this, it could come back, but they just don't have a lot of credibility, Tucker. You know that perhaps better than anybody. I think it was a terrible move getting rid of you. You were number one on television, and all of a sudden we're doing this interview, but we'll get bigger ratings using this crazy forum that you're using than probably the debate or competition.
When you say there are people on stage who shouldn't be running for president, who do you mean?
Well, I don't want to really use names, but it wouldn't matter too much. A guy like, I call him Ada Hutchinson. It's Asa, but I call him Ada.
Why do you call him Ada?
I could tell you, but I don't want to get myself in a little trouble. But he's weak and pathetic, and he was, I never understood the guy, never knew him. He was the governor of Arkansas, not a very popular guy. I don't know how but that state is such a great state. The people are so incredible in that state, and they love me and I love them. How does this guy get elected governor of Arkansas? But he's nasty always, and has been. A guy like Chris Christie, the guy left with a 8%, think of it, 8% approval rating in New Jersey. Now he's running for president, and he runs solely on the basis, let's get Trump. He's like a savage maniac. He's like a lunatic. And that's all he talks about. His poll numbers are very, very low. He's about 2%.
What's he like? You know him well.
No, I've been friendly with him over the years, but I couldn't give him a job because I just never trusted him very much. I was just never one of his people that really trusted him. I never gave him the job. And that's one of the reasons he feels so hurt and so betrayed. And I understand that. I really do. I understand it. But I never gave him, he wanted to be different things. He was looking at different elements of the administration. And I decided I didn't want to do it. And now I'm glad I did, because you see, but we had some great people. I had great people. We'll have even better people if we do this, because now I know Washington. Before I didn't know Washington. But guys like Bill Barr were terrible. I mean, they were, I would say, Bushies. I say that with respect to the Bush family, but they were Bushies, and it doesn't work out for us.
It was clear, this is kind of far afield, but it was just interesting. I read Barr's account of his time. He wrote a book about it,
right?
His autobiography. And in it, he lies about Jeffrey Epstein's death. Clearly lies. Do you think Epstein killed himself sincerely?
I don't know. I will say that, he was a fixture in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what Barr said about it either. I have no idea what he said. What did he say? He killed himself, probably?
He said he killed himself, and that they were going to do this investigation. They never did the investigation. It's never been public.
Well,
and they hid it. And why are they doing that? And clearly Barr knew. But why would Bill Barr be covering up the death of Jeffrey Epstein?
Bill Barr didn't do an investigation on the election fraud either. Okay, he said he did, and he pretended he did, but he didn't. McSwain, the U.S. attorney in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, said Barr just wouldn't let him do it. It was crazy. Barr became so petrified, so frightened of being impeached. We're going to impeach him. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
It's not a big moment in history. But they said, we're going to impeach. They play a much rougher game, the left, the lunatics. And they were going to impeach Bill Barr, and he was petrified. Now, how do you not get impeached? Don't do any of this stuff. But he didn't do the job there. I don't know what he did with Epstein, but possibly he didn't.
Do you think it's possible that Epstein was killed?
Oh, sure, it's possible. I mean, I don't really believe. I think he probably committed suicide. He had a life with, beautiful homes and beautiful everything, and he all of a sudden he's incarcerated and not doing very well. I would say that he did, but there are those people. There are many people. I think you're one of them, right? But a lot of people think that he was killed. He knew a lot on a lot of people.
He was killed.
You think so?
I think the closer you look, I'm not a conspiracy person at all. I believe everything I hear. But yeah, the closer you look into it, I mean, the Attorney General of the United States, your Attorney General, clearly lied about the Epstein death.
Yeah,
and
he was.
Why?
He was certainly. It wasn't well done. They had no cameras. They had no anything. Everybody was sleeping, and a case could be made. Look, I'm not going to get involved in it, but I can tell you a case could be made either way. But it certainly wasn't the most well-run place.
So the reason I'm asking you is I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics, for real, and then won. It started with protests against you, massive protests,
Right.
organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice,
Right.
and now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you? Honestly,
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or conservatives. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody. But I've seen what they do. I've seen the lengths that they go to when they make up the Russia. When that's exposed and they go down, and Barr should have gone after them, and other people should have gone after. And they did very late, because the Durham report came out. It was fairly good. It could have been a lot tougher, I guess, but it was fairly good. But it explained how corrupt it was. I'll tell you who did a great job was the Inspector General Horowitz. He did a phenomenal report. You didn't have to go to Durham. He did it on Comey and on, I guess, McCabe and some others. And it was a vicious, it was basically a true report, how bad they are. But these people are sick people. These are people that I think they hate our country. You want to know the truth. When you see open borders, when you see these policies that they have, and so many other things, it's so sad to see. We have a country that's very fragile right now. I've never seen, I will say, look, I ran in 16, which was 15, but I ran in 16, election in 16, and there was tremendous spirit. In 20, there was even more spirit. We got millions and millions more votes. You know, it wasn't even a contest. People said, well, what'd you think of 20? I said, we did much better. We did. You got to base it on the number of votes. We got many more votes in 20 than we did in 16. But the election was rigged. It was a rigged election. And with COVID, they used COVID to cheat in a lot of different things. And we have so much on it. It's like so easy. But we had judges that didn't want to look. We had people didn't want to get involved. They called you, he's a conspiracy theorist if you say anything about the election. But I have never seen spirit like there is right now. Even coming down here, just the people on the road that are just absolutely going crazy. And the reason is, I think they like me, and I know they love my policies. I hope they like me too. You know, a lot of people say they don't like me, but they like my policies. I think they like me. But I have never seen spirit like it is right now. And the reason is because crooked Joe Biden is so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country. I don't think he's going to make it to the gate, but you know, you never know. But he's a corrupt person, so corrupt that I took the name off Hillary. You know, I don't do two people at one time. I took the crooked Hillary and I retired the name. That was a good day for her. I bet she was very happy. And I used it for Joe because it's crooked Joe. But Joe is really...
But you don't think he's going to make it to November of 2024?
Well, I think he's worse mentally than he is physically. And physically, he's not exactly a triathlete or any kind of an athlete. You look at him, he can't walk to the helicopter. He walks, he can't lift his feet out of the grass. You know, it's only 2 inches at the White House, right? It's not a lot. But you watch him and it looks like he's walking on toothpicks. So, and then you see him on the beach where he can't lift a chair. You know, those chairs are meant to be light, right? They're like 2 ounces.
Yeah.
You lift them up. He can't lift the chair. He can't walk to the chair. And I don't know what they're doing with the beach. You know, this beach is seeming to play a big role, but they love pictures of him on the beach. I think he looks terrible on the beach. Looks terrible on the beach.
Skinny legs.
Well, he can't walk through the sand. You know, sand is not that easy to walk through, but when he walks through it, he can't walk through the sand. And there's somebody in there that thinks he looks fabulous at the beach. I think he looks horrible at the beach. Plus, the beach doesn't represent what a president's supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be working. You're supposed to be getting us out of that horrible, horrible war that we're very much involved in with Russia and Ukraine. You could do that. You could do that very easily. I believe you could do that I don't believe he could do it because he's just incompetent. But that's a war that should end immediately, not because of one side or the other, because hundreds of thousands of people are being killed. Can you imagine you're in an apartment house and rockets are going into that building and blowing it up and knocking it down? And why should anybody, human beings, these are human, whether they're Russian or Ukrainian or whatever they are, it's got to be stopped. And it can't be stopped very easily. It would have never started. If I were president, it would have never started.
So back to Biden, I'm interested. So you think he's failing? He obviously is failing. I think it's clear to everybody. But that would make Kamala Harris the candidate?
Well, not really. I mean, I guess they'd have maybe a free-for-all. A lot of people say she has to remain for certain reasons, the candidate. She has to. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think that other people would stand for it. She has some bad moments. Her moments are almost as bad as his. I think his are worse, actually.
Yeah.
But
she seems pretty senile, too.
She speaks in rhyme. You know, it's weird. It's weird. But she has bad moments. And
in rhyme? What do you?
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there because that's what buses do. And it's weird. The whole thing is weird. This is not a president of the United States future. And I think they probably have some kind of a primary and other people will get involved.
Newsom, right? I mean,
could be. I mean, you know, I always got along well with him, believe it or not, but could be him, could be somebody else. He's got a big load on his shoulders because you look at California, what's happened. But I don't know if the American people really, the people that vote for him, I don't even know if they care. You know, you look at so many of the things that are going on and people don't seem to be, in the old days, if you had a bad record, it meant a lot. Today, if you have a bad record, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, he looks good. He's a nice looking guy, speaks well. But Biden, every time you watch him talking, it's like he's walking on eggs. You're waiting for him to collapse. And he almost always does. And I got to know the leaders of all of the countries, essentially, but the big ones. And the bigger, the tougher the leader. You know, it's like sort of, I guess maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. But I got to know President Xi of China and Putin and Kim Jong-un, North Korea. Did a great job with North Korea, kept us out of a nuclear war. We would have 40,000 dead soldiers right now. They'd drop a nuke right on top of the military base. But we have 40,000 soldiers over there. And I did great. I got along with him great. That's a positive. You know, the press said, he said nice things about Kim Jong-un. I also said horrible things at the beginning. Horrible enough that he wanted to talk. And we talked, and we met in Singapore. We met actually twice. And we had unbelievable meetings. I know him very well. We were in great shape with him.
What do you think he and Xi and Putin think of Biden?
I think they can't believe it. I think they probably say this is some kind of a system. You know, they had great respect for our country. They respected me. They had great respect for our country when I was there. Every one of them. Look, if you go to North Korea, you take a look at what happened. You know, the Olympics was dead. South Korea spent billions on the Olympics. Nobody was going to go. They didn't want to get blown up. They called me and they said, we are going to let the Olympics proceed. This is North Korea. I said, you should go into the Olympics. Put your athletes in. It wasn't like, you know, they were big on athletes because, you know.
Famine.
But they went in and they actually participated. And within about 2 days, the entire thing was sold out. And if it wasn't me, that would have never happened. But I got along very well with him, and that's a positive thing. He does have massive nuclear power, by the way. And if Hillary would have gotten in, or if the Obama thought process continued, it would have been a nuclear war, absolutely, with North Korea. He was expecting to go into a war, and it would have been a nuclear war.
So do you think the rest of the world looks on at Biden and thinks someone else has got to be running the government?
Well, somebody else has to be. I don't think he's capable of doing anything. Look, when I debated him, I said, how come, and this was in front of probably not a friend of yours, Chris Wallace. He was the moderator.
Not a friend.
I said, why is it? He wants to be Mike, but he doesn't have the talent. It's one of those
bitchy little man.
He wanted to be his father, but he didn't have the talent of his father was great. His father,
little fussy man.
His father interviewed me in 60 Minutes. It was actually a 10. Can you believe it?
I totally believe his father had talent, at least.
I may have been the only guy that he gave a good 60 Minutes to. He was rough.
Really?
His father was tough. He was great, though. He was great at what he did. But Chris Wallace was so upset. He was guarding this guy who wouldn't do a show, by the way. You know, he wouldn't do. I figured I didn't mind Chris Wallace because Biden wouldn't do a show. And it was very obvious. You know, he kept asking him and asking, but he wouldn't do the show. So I figured he's got to like me. But he came from a different planet. But remember when I asked the question, why is it that the mayor of Moscow's wife is allowed to give you $3.5 million? Don't forget, that was brought up. Now it's brought up all the time, but that was brought up by me long before anyone ever heard of it. I said, the mayor of Moscow's wife giving you $3.5 million. What did you do to deserve $3.5 million? To Biden. And Chris Wallace said, this has nothing to do with the debate. I mean, he
got in the way of the question.
No, it was crazy. And I said, well, wait a minute. He got $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. Now, people forget that, but if you go back and take a look, you will see. And Chris Wallace didn't want me to ask that question. I said, I think it's a very appropriate question. It turned out to be much more appropriate than people thought.
Amazing. So do you have a preference in, assuming you're the Republican nominee and all goes as you plan it to go, do you have a preference in who you run against?
In many ways, I'd love to run against him because his record's so bad. You know, it's still horrible when you look at inflation and everything else, but others also have very bad records. I mean, California's a bad record. So, you know, should it be Gavin or should it be somebody else? When I look at San Francisco, what's happened to that incredible city? That was one of the greatest cities in the world just a short while ago. And now it's very sad when you look at it. Los Angeles, every city practically, all the Democrat-run cities. You know, Republican-run cities are doing very nicely because they arrest people when you have crimes. And they don't go after political candidates because they think it's good. You know, I mean, it's like been amazing. My poll numbers are the highest I've ever had. But because people understand it.
Can I just ask you, that gets back to my original question. So if the protest didn't work, you got elected anyway. Yeah. Impeachment didn't work twice. obviously. Indictment is not working. Your poll numbers go up. When they raided Mar-a-Lago in August of last year, your numbers went up. They can indict you 20 times, and you're not gonna lose the Republican primary because of that.
Well,
So,
it makes it look even more ridiculous. I mean, the 4 indictments, and maybe there'll be more. I don't know. These people are crazy.
But they're counterproductive. So if you chart it out, it's an escalation, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what's next after, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life? That's not working. So like, don't they have to kill you now?
I think the people of our country don't get enough credit for how smart they are. And I'm not sure I would have said this 10 years ago, but they get it. They really get it. When somebody gets indicted, your poll numbers go down. When somebody gets indicted, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving to spend time with my family and to fight for the rest of my life on this stuff. But you're out of politics. I got indicted 4 times. All trivia, nonsense, bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's horrible when you look and you look at what they're doing. The boxes hoax, I'm covered by the Presidential Records Act. I'm allowed to do exactly that. He's not covered, and he's got 25 times the number of boxes, and he's got them stored in Chinatown. He's got them stored in a flimsy garage underneath his Corvette at Penn. And by the way, at Penn, he gets millions of dollars. China pays this guy millions of dollars. See, I think he's the most corrupt president we've ever had. And he also has the distinction of being the most incompetent. And I believe both. I mean, he's both incompetent and corrupt.
So
and
who
I
is running the
actually
government?
believe he's compromised because China knows so much about him. They know where the money comes from. They know where it is, who paid it, and they probably paid it. Well, they do pay Penn, and he gets $1 million. I think he takes $999,000 because keeps it a little bit under $1 million, like by $1. But he, in many ways, is a Manchurian candidate. We have a Manchurian candidate. And he's afraid to tell Russia to get out of Cuba. He's afraid to tell China to get out of Cuba. He's afraid. China now is building, think of this. China is building military installations in Cuba. The Cuban population of Miami is not too happy because they're never going to be able to go back. And you don't even hear about it. And the worst culprit is the press, the media, because normally, when I first heard that China is building installations in Cuba, and installations means military installations. Okay, they said just some communication. They did that on the islands with Japan. They took the island, they started this massive construction, and they told everybody, including the Japanese have to be very careful. They told everybody that this is a housing development. They're going to build a housing development. And I said, how come the runway is 20,000 feet long? Private jets need 4,000 feet. They don't need 20,000 feet. The big ones need 20,000 feet. They don't even need 20. And I looked at the runway. I said, that's the largest runway ever built, both in width and length, for housing development. There's nobody that has a plane that big that you would have a runway that's
Why is
for
China
testing.
allowed to conduct imperialism in our hemisphere?
Well, yeah, and it's far beyond Cuba. It's all over South America.
Yeah, in the Caribbean.
So we built a thing called the Panama Canal. We lost 35,000 people to the mosquito, malaria.
Yeah.
We lost 35,000 people building. We lost 35,000 people because of the mosquito. Vicious. They had to build under nets. It was one of the true great wonders of the world. As he said, one of the 9 wonders of the world. No, it was one of the 7. It happened a little while ago, It says 9 wonders of the world. You could make 9 wonders. He would have been better off if he stuck with the 9 and just said, yeah, I think it's 9. But this is one of the true 7 wonders of the world. And you take a look at the Panama Canal. It was such an incredible engineering marvel. We sold it under Jimmy Carter. We sold it to Panama for $1. The following day, they quadrupled the amount of money that ships had to pay to get across. They didn't lose one ship. And now they've made it much bigger, and now they've widened it. They've doubled it, right? They've more than doubled it. And it's one of the most profitable things. Any time it's just incredible, right? We gave it away for $1. China now controls it. They actually control the Panama Canal. They run it, they control it. And we shouldn't let that happen. And we can't let China be in Cuba. And they'll get out. If I'm president, they'll get out. Because I had a very good relationship with President Xi, but he respected this country. He respected me. And he'll get out. And we can't let them run the Panama Canal. We built the Panama Canal. Should have never been given to Panama. We should have had it. But we gave it for $1. Think of it. They quadrupled. In one day, they lifted the fees, which are, pretty big for these massive ships to go through, right? Rather than going around the Cape and to all the tremendous storms, such beauty, when it's beautiful stuff. But you didn't want to get caught in those storms. Those were storms that wiped out the biggest ships. And we go through the Panama Canal, we built it, and we gave it away for $1. Think of that. How stupid are we? We have done the stupidest things in this country. And now we have a president that can't put two sentences together, can't speak, can't walk, can't talk. I don't think he gets to the starting gate, but these people do miracles. I mean, he ran out of his basement, and you got away with that one because of COVID, so he sort of got away with it. They cheated on the election. But you have people that are very smart, but they're fascists and they're radical left lunatics, and they're destroying our country with the all-electric cars and the windmills all over the place, which, by the way, don't work. And they're most of them made in China. For the most part, they're made in China. Germany a little bit, but China. But you look at what's happening to our country, even no voter ID. I mean, why don't they want voter ID? There's only one reason they don't want voter ID, because they want to cheat. Who doesn't want, the Democrat convention, the last one, they had voter ID that was this big. It looked like a prison card, this big on their chest. You walked in, they had your picture, your this, your fingerprint. They had everything. The most incredible voter ID I've ever seen. That was to get into the Democrat National Convention. But to get into vote, if you buy groceries, if you buy practically anything now, you have ID on a card, credit cards or otherwise.
But don't you think it's racist to have to show your ID?
Well, they probably say that. They use anything not to show ID, because voter ID is pretty simple. And we could go back, and we should go back to all paper ballots, voter ID, same-day voting. France did it. France had mail-in ballots, and it was terrible. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you're going to have massive cheating on your elections. Anytime, but not just the presidential election. Anytime you have...
Isn't that the whole point of them?
Yeah.
So you can
cheat? Oh,
yeah,
sure. It's their whole point. That's their whole point. They want to cheat. Yeah. They have to cheat because their policies are so bad that if they didn't cheat, they couldn't get elected. Who wants open borders? Who wants high taxes? Who wants high interest rates? Who wants to not be able to use a gas stove or have to drive an electric car, which, you have a 4-hour drive, but the car only goes an hour and a half. So you have to charge it. The happiest moment for somebody in an electric car is the first 10 minutes. In other words, you get it charged, and now for 10 minutes. The unhappiest part is the next hour, because you're petrified that you're not going to be found another charger. People, I'm saying, I'm not knocking electric cars, they're fine. They're fine. But if people want to buy a gasoline car or a hybrid, hybrids are pretty good, actually, but they should be allowed to buy. They don't want to do any of this. So right now, California's in a big brownout, because their grid is a disaster. The grid all over the country is sort of a disaster, but the grid in California. And yet they want to have, in a very short period of time, millions and millions of cars going off that grid, essentially. It doesn't work.
So plug your car into a grid that's failing.
You should be able to buy an electric car. Electric cars could be fine if you drive short distances and you want to have, whatever, and you have plug-ins everywhere you go. They could be fine. But you got to have gasoline cars. You got to have everything. Let people buy everything. Now the new thing is your heating systems in the house. They don't want you to have a modern day heating system. They want you to use a heating system that will cost you at least $10,000 to buy and won't work very well. None of the stuff works as well. One of the things I did with EPA is you have states, many states, most of the states have so much water, it comes out of heaven, right? The water pours down and you have it. It's there. It's got to go wherever it goes, into the oceans, whatever. It's not like a big problem. Now, in some states, they have a problem. You have some desert areas and all, and for that, it's okay. But they have sinks where no water comes out. You turn it on, no water comes out. No water comes out of the shower. No water is allowed to go into the washing machine for your dishes or for your clothing or what. And I avoided all of that.
Wait, they have sinks where no water comes out?
Sure, you have restrictors. When I say no water, very little water. You want to wash your hands, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen this, and you turn on the sink and it's very little. Or you want to wash your beautiful hair, right? And you're standing under a shower. then the suds never go. The water comes out very slowly. I'm sure you've seen this. It usually takes place in new hotels and new homes.
Yeah, you take a drill and take the
They have
limiter out.
well, you can, but now they make it so you can't do that so easily. They have a restrictor. It's called a restrictor, and it restricts the water from coming out. So I ended all of that, and you have to see these. They let the water come out. You know what people do? They wash their hands like 5 times longer, or in the washing machine, they'll press for their, let's say the dishwasher, they'll press it. Then they'll press it about 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
They'll end up using more water, and it still won't be very good. I met with the head of Whirlpool. They were practically going out of business during my administration, and they said to me, from Ohio, incredible, great state, I love Ohio, and they were really doing badly because people were dumping washing machines all over, mostly from South Korea, but also from China. And he was explaining it's just a terrible situation. I said, let me ask you, how's the quality? He says, we're better, but they are good enough quality. But, of course he's going to say that, but, they are better. He said, but they don't allow us. They're dumping these machines. They're cutting us in half. They're killing us. And on top of it, the government won't let us use water in our machines. I mean, he shows me like a quarter of a bottle of water. That's supposed to be washing clothing. And I freed it all up, and I put tariffs on these countries that were selling and the machines coming into the country. And that company went from all the washing machine companies, they make washing machines, they make dryers, they make all of the different machines that do this kind of work, including dishwashers. And they went from a disaster area to being just thriving.
But can I ask,
they love me in that part of Ohio.
Well, I bet they do, but why should EPA, no one at EPA was elected by anybody.
Yeah.
Why do they have the power to decide how much water your washing machine uses? Shouldn't Congress in a democracy get to vote on that?
Yeah, you could say that. They do things that are not very...
So how do you, that's my question. How do you, if you get elected again, go back to Washington, how do you keep the agencies under control? How do you keep FBI and CIA specifically under control?
The way you do it, like I fired Comey, that was a big deal. A lot of people said, and I fired him very early. Somebody said, oh, I wish you would have fired him. There's a real question about firing him anyway. You understand, because, when they have a 10-year term, there is a question. I fired Comey. That was a great thing. If I didn't fire Comey, maybe I wouldn't be talking to you, or I'd be talking to you about real estate or something else other than politics, right? That was a coup, in my opinion. That was a very sick deal. That was the insurance policy. You remember the insurance policy? Oh, she's going to win, darling. She's going to win. But just in case she doesn't, we have an insurance policy. An insurance policy was what they were doing. And we caught them with that. That was a very important tweet or whatever it was, text. It was a big deal. That was a big deal. The insurance policy. She's going to win 100 million to 1. That's not good odds. At least they gave me 1, right? 100 million to 1. But just in case she doesn't win, we have an insurance policy. And everybody said, that's strange. That's strange. But we caught all that because I fired Comey. Because when I fired Comey, it was like throwing a rock into a hornet's nest, into a nest of bees, and the place went crazy.
So when you were president, are you confident that you knew everything, say, CIA was doing around the world?
No, I'm not. It's a very interesting group of people. I had very good relationships, I thought, but I was a little surprised when I got out that, things go on. Look, it's...
What were you surprised by?
I was surprised. I think it's some of the people. I was surprised that there was... I had a group of people. Look, we killed many, using the CIA, I have to say this, very bad actors. We were very good at it. You look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, bigger than Osama bin Laden. I mean, Osama bin Laden, but al-Baghdadi did ISIS, and he was rebuilding ISIS very strongly.
And that was the CIA that did that?
That was really us that did that.
Yeah.
That was really us that did that. And Soleimani was us that did that, not so much CIA. But we did some very good work with the CIA. But I started, when I looked at the 51 intelligence agents saying that was the laptop from hell was Russia disinformation, when I took a look at that, I said, that's a horrible thing. They knew it wasn't. They knew it was not. And by the way, you're talking about cheating on the election? McLaughlin and Fabrizio, great pollsters, they said a thing like that plus other things meant anywhere from 10 to 17% of the vote would change.
Whatever happened to Mike Pence? You've always been nice to Pence. I've never heard you criticize Pence. You've defended him in public many, many times. He's out there attacking you. What is that?
So Mike wants to run for president. You got to understand, in my opinion, Mike Pence had the absolute right to send the votes back to the legislatures. The Democrats and everybody said, you don't have the right. In other words, what I said, is he a human conveyor belt? You mean if he finds fraud in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in any of these states, Arizona, he has to send them to Mitch McConnell, right? That's right, sir. Well, if he finds fraud, he has to? Yes, sir. I said, so he's a conveyor belt. Boom, put him in. I said, I don't agree with that. And we had some lawyers, not all, we had some lawyers that said, no, you do have the right to send them back to the legislatures to be rechecked. Because if you looked at what went on in Wisconsin, who, by the way, now agree with me, Wisconsin has been virtually, other than the fact they're not allowed to do anything statutorily, but Wisconsin has been, I mean, what they found is incredible. I mean, we won Wisconsin. But Mike Pence had the right, in my opinion, to send them back.
Do you ever talk to him now?
No, I haven't spoken to him in a long time. I was very disappointed in him. I didn't want to do what Thomas Jefferson did. Thomas Jefferson, it was Georgia. And it was, hear ye, hear ye, the great state of Georgia is not capable or allowed to tabulate their votes. And Thomas Jefferson, who was the vice president, said, is Georgia sure that they cannot tabulate their votes? Georgia is sure. He didn't send them back and have them redo it. He said, we will keep the votes of the great state of Georgia for Thomas Jefferson and his president. I didn't ask him for that. Could have done that too, but I didn't. I thought that would be turmoil. I asked him to send them back to his legislature, to the legislatures, you know, in Wisconsin, let's say.
But why didn't he? I mean, you'd worked together for 4 years. You're the president. He's VP. You say you're aligned on everything.
I think he got very bad advice. I really do. Now, let me tell you what happened. I sat there with a few people. I think his lawyer was in the room too. His lawyer was very much against it. There were other lawyers that felt you could do it. It was one of those things. I think you could have done it. I think you can always do something if you see fraud or if you see problems. But it's very interesting. So after the election was over, the rhinos got together with the Democrats and they redid the election, so you couldn't do it anymore. So then I called the people. I said, so in other words, you're saying I was right. You could do it. Yes, you could do it. In other words, they took the Voting Act and they redid it so the vice president no longer has the power to do what I said he could do. So when that happened, I said, wow. So, and you know, you'd look some of these Democrats in the eye and they say, he has absolutely no right to do it. And immediately after the election, they met rhinos, could name them all, and Democrats, and they approved legislation that takes away the right of the vice president to do it. So I said, so you're saying I was right. The vice president did have the right to do it. And they said, yes, he did.
So if you're saying they stole it from you last time, why wouldn't they do the same this time?
Oh, well, they'll try. They're going to be trying, yeah. But, and not only me, you know. Look, DeSantis is out. I think he's gone. So he was at a level. People have figured him out. He's gone. But if somebody else got in, other than me, they'll go at him just as viciously as they did me. These people are sick. They will go after them. And a lot of people say they won't be able to hold up. I do get credit for holding up quite well, I must tell you. I think it's...
How do you do that? How do you get indicted, you know, every week and stay cheerful?
It's... I think it's a lot easier because I'm so high in the polls, because it means the people get it. The people see it's a fraud. The people see it, like this horrible district attorney from just a little while ago, from essentially Atlanta, that's Fulton County. She said, basically, I don't have any right to challenge an election. Well, what about Stacey Abrams? What about Hillary Clinton? What about all of these Democrats that are still challenging my election? The same people that are saying he's challenging an election challenged my election. And they did it with slates. They did it with all sorts of things. They were very bad about it. But basically, they're suing me and they're saying, you don't have any right to challenge it. If you challenge an election, we're going to indict you and put you in jail. So what they're doing is they've weaponized, and don't kid yourself, the DOJ and Biden and the whole group, they're watching all of this stuff. They love the local stuff. You know, the DA in Manhattan. Not only that, they put one of the DOJ top people into the Manhattan DA's office to run things. They don't even have a case against me. It's not even a case. Everyone says, even the Democrats say, you can't bring these cases. You have no case. The attorney general or the district attorney, Fannie Willis in Atlanta, she's getting killed. Basically, she's saying Trump doesn't have the right to criticize an election. But you've been around long enough now. You've seen many elections criticized. I mean, Hillary Clinton goes crazy. Every time she talks, she says, he's not the president. Jimmy Carter said, he's not the president. Well, I am the president. Hillary Clinton called me, by the way, at 3:02 in the morning to congratulate me the night of the election.
Did her voice crack?
Well, her voice was, it's very different, I will say. I won't get into that. But
what do you mean?
Her voice was very different. Don't forget, they were all celebrating at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I came home and I said, I think we won. I felt we won because the rallies are so big. We'd go to Wisconsin and we'd go to Georgia. We'd go to different states. In Michigan, we'd have rallies. In Pennsylvania, we had 58,000 people in Butler. And I said, how are we losing this? How do you have a rally where you have from 50 to 100,000 people, many of them, I did 7 a day for a couple of days. That's a lot. That's a lot. These are big rallies too. And I didn't hold back. I didn't say, let's make them let's do abbreviations, right? But they challenged the stuff. Yeah. Hillary called me up and conceded. Now the word is that Obama said you have to do that. But she called up and totally conceded. But now, every time you see her on television, she's saying she's challenging the election.
Do you think
so? That would mean that she should be indicted, but that would mean also that Stacey Abrams in Georgia should be indicted because she still thinks she won the election for governor. She still thinks that. She's never recanted. And
do you think Stacey Abrams will be indicted for that?
No, of course not. She won't be. The Democrats don't get indicted for things like that. They don't get impeached. No, it's a different thing. With that being said,
yes,
I had great support when they did impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2. Jim Jordan, the House was fantastic. And actually the Senate was very good for me, other than, Mitch McConnell. I think if it's too bad I endorsed him. He was begging, he was going to lose that race and I endorsed him and he ended up winning the race because of my endorsement. He was down, he was going to lose to Amy McGrath. She was $90 million in cash, all set to go. She was leading by 3. He was going down. I did him a favor. And then 3-4 months later, he really wanted to impeach me. He's a bad guy. But if you look at what's going on politically, so interesting. The level of loyalty is different in politics than it is in normal life, I will say. With that being said, I've had great loyalty also. But the House was fantastic. The Senate was very good. They overrode Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, in my opinion, was trying to get senators to impeach me, especially for the second one. And on the first one, he acted very, very slow. He should have gone much faster. But Mitch McConnell wanted to, and the senators went up to guys that are subservient to him because he gives money. He gives them money. He gives them a lot of money. He raises some money and he gives it to them, and therefore they do what he said. That's the only form of leadership he's got.
So last question. If you're elected president again, what's your number one priority? When you ran last time, you said, I will build a wall. This time, your bottom line top promise to the country.
So you can do numerous things at the same time.
Of course.
But let's say number one is a border and taking hundreds of thousands of criminals that have been allowed into our country and getting them out and bringing them back to their country, Guatemala. By the way, not only the 4 countries that we think of as neighbors, all over the world. Last month, we had 149 countries represented. Think of it. We had 149 countries represented, Tucker, from places that many people never even heard of, coming into our country. And they're coming in from mental institutions and they're coming in from prisons. They're emptying out their prisons all over South America. They're emptying out their mental institutions. Terrorists are pouring into our country. We have no idea. I had the strongest border in the history of our country, and I built almost 500 miles of wall. You know, they like to say, oh, was it less? No, I built 500 miles. In fact, if you check with the authorities on the border, we built almost 500 miles of wall, and I had another 200 that I was going to build. You know, it's like water, it seeks. And we're going to build another 200. We built it. It was all set to go. All they had to do was install it. It would have taken 3 weeks. And that's when I found out. I said, I think these people actually want open borders. The first thing I would do would be I would seal up the border good and tight, except for people that want to come in legally.
Do you think we're moving towards civil war?
There's tremendous passion and there's tremendous love. You know, January 6th was a very interesting day because they don't report it properly. I believe it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. And you know some of the crowds I've spoken before. And like July 4th on the mall, I think they had 1 million people there. But I think that the biggest crowd I've ever spoken before was on January 6th. And people that were in that crowd, a very, very small group of people. And we said patriotically and peacefully and patriotically, right? Nobody ever says that. Go peacefully and patriotically. But people that were in that crowd that day, very small group of people, went down there, and then there are a lot of scenarios that we can talk about. But people in that crowd said it was the most beautiful day they've ever experienced. There was love in that crowd. There was love and unity. I have never seen such spirit and such passion and such love. And I've also never seen simultaneously and from the same people such hatred of what they've done to our country.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We seem to be moving towards something.
I don't know because I don't know what it, you know, I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen. And that's probably a bad combination.
Donald Trump, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you.
That is a bad combination. By the way.
Bad combination. Thank you.
Wow.
Well, are we going to get nothing, no afterthoughts from Tucker, or that's the way it is, huh?
I think so. He ended it.
Huh. I wonder if the quote debates are still going on.
I don't know. Do you want me to check that out?
Well, yeah, I think Donald Jr. had a link to Rumble. I don't know, what's going on with that, but
I really don't want to watch them. Do you?
No, I just want to know. I saw where people had suggested, if I was on that debate stage after looking at those mugshots today, I wouldn't even want to. Well, I can't say that I wouldn't participate. I'd be mouthing off about those mugshots and what a disgrace it is. Maybe there were sparks flying. Maybe somebody is standing up for Mr. T indirectly by condemning. You see people like Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani being treated like criminals. Man, that's bad news.
Let me see. I'm going to try to go over there.
If none of them say anything about it, none of them condemn it, I don't have respect for any of them.
Right. Let's see.
But he said he didn't know if there'd be a civil war or not. He said there was a lot of passion and love. He began with that answering that question. But then the second part of that, he said there was a lot of passion and hate, which was a very bad combination. Of course, you just heard that stuff.
What the heck? My phone just totally shut down. We got bad storms coming through again.
Oh.
They're talking about thunder tornadoes. What is that?
Thunder tornadoes, nothing I've heard of.
Me
They come
either.
up with new crap all the time.
Like, what does that even mean?
Remember murder hornets. Don't forget murder hornets. And monkeypox. And now we got tornado hurricanes or whatever the hell they're talking about. TJ Cat said I was busy all day and didn't see any mugshots. I put some of them up on my community page. Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, and Jenna, what's her name? On YouTube, the community page.
Jenna Ellis.
Jenna Ellis, yeah. Why didn't he admit they planted in that crowd? He said that the media is just not reporting it correctly. And I don't know if you all caught this or not at the beginning. And I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. And how many of you remember when I said I'm not using the term fake news anymore? That's over with. I said this about 2 weeks ago in one of my live broadcasts. I said I'm going to call it corrupt news. So, Mr. T used that term at the beginning of the broadcast and pretty much said what I said. It's not fake news is not strong enough anymore. It's corrupt news. And that's exactly what I said about 2 weeks ago in my broadcast. And I said, let the algo and then rhythm catch up with that. Propaganda.
Garrett, that's not breaking news. We all know he's turning himself in tomorrow. Hey, Garrett, how are you?
Be nice to, well, let them take their little picture, their little mug shot. Like I said, they can't hide it. It's got to be available to the public, and they cannot prevent people from using it. They can't copyright it.
You're welcome, Karen. Hey, wait a minute. I was going to ask you something here. Hang on. What did you think he meant by when he said that Biden is walking on eggs?
That he's frail. He said his legs were like toothpicks. He was unable to move a chair that was designed to be easily moved. He's frail.
Well, for crying out loud, he fell asleep in Hawaii as they were, with the families of the deceased.
Yeah.
He's an embarrassment.
It's like I said, that's right. That's what I was talking about last night. I said Biden is like a boil on the backside of the Democrats. A big, painful boil. And why should we pop it for them? Let it pop their own damn boil.
Some people in Chat Mountain Man are saying that they heard Mr. T say, "I am president."
Yeah, he did say that a couple times.
What do you make of that?
It's one of those ways of Donald Trump speaking where you could take it either way. But I feel he's come back in another form, just like he said.
Yep. Before he
when he left.
Yep.
We will be back in some form. But Biden is the Democrat Party's embarrassment. Why should we pull their toothache? Pull your own tooth or live with it.
It's just so corrupt. I mean, something's got to give here. The bubble needs to pop soon.
Well, we've got, like that colonel said.
Yeah.
He said he didn't say to the edge of the precipice. He said we're going to go off into the abyss.
Mountain Man, I'll be right back on for.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. Hi, Roy. Mary laughs a lot. The cat. Miss Bendersue. Thank you, Miss Bendersue. I'll thank you on my broadcast too. 17, I saw that. On Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate it. Let's see. What was JFK picture in most American homes that day? Yeah, there always was JFK picture, and a lot of people had Martin Luther King pictures. That's right, Annette. He falls on stairs. Yeah. Tubala said he didn't say anything bad about Pence, yet Pence is very critical of him. A good movie takes good actors. Okay. After Pence got hit with that water balloon, nobody talked about it, but Trump did say, I hate to see him being treated so poorly. And he said tonight that Pence got some very bad advice. And hey, I think that is going to play into the destruction that's going to be needed of the Bar Association, and it's going to have to be rebuilt because it is corrupted. The Bar Association is corrupted. And if Pence can honestly say, as vice president, I was given some very bad advice by people who should have known better, that's going to help us to dismantle that Bar Association and all these Marxist attorneys that Harvard, Yale, Berkeley, all these pukey colleges have been putting out. They got to go. On my community page, I put up a post that where this one attorney has a YouTube page, and he said, inject these mugshots into my veins, putting up Rudy, Jen Ellis, and Sidney Powell's mugshots. And I circled him in red ink and said, we have got to dismantle the American Bar Association. And so this can never happen ever again. We have got attorneys going public and supporting these criminal accusations and using lawfare to violate constitutional rights of Americans, and that cannot stand. And we got to punish it, and we got to make sure it'll never happen again.
Oh, Garrett said they're fixing to talk about Trump in the debates.
Hi, Georgia. Okay, Georgia, get a good night's sleep. Garrett said they're going to talk. Let's see, I'm way up in the chats. Let's see. Okay, well, let them talk. And Pence, I think he's setting up the attorneys that were using their credentials to influence the vice president into doing something unconstitutional, and he'll prove that. But he'll play the role. Hey, I trusted them. They've got law degrees. Well, what are we doing handing out law degrees to people who cannot use logic and don't understand the Constitution?
I was kind of hoping, to be honest with you, that that whole conversation would have went a little bit harder than it did.
Yeah. I think a lot of people. Well, Trump is going in tomorrow to be booked.
I know.
So he's got to be reasonable in his discussion. But hey, he said there was a possibility that Epstein, the Epstein situation couldn't be trusted from what we were hearing versus the conditions in that jail and the actions that people took in that jail. So that door was left open by Mr. T. That's big.
It's huge, but I just wish that Tucker would have pressed him a little harder for things.
Well, he pressed him pretty hard. He said, are they going to kill you?
Yeah, he did. I know. But you know what is I did see in the chat when it was going, people were like, well, he didn't answer the question about Epstein. He did. Mr. T said that he believes that he committed suicide and then side, right?
Yeah, you know how to side.
Yeah. So he doesn't believe that Epstein found a rope in the cellar or something by somebody else.
Yeah.
But Tucker didn't. Tucker said, no, I don't think that's what happened. So I don't know. Who knows?
Well, he's leaving it open. And he said that al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, Soleimani was the one who got taken out during that airstrike when he was getting off at an airport, and they identified him, like Ted Cruz said, by his gaudy ring. And al-Baghdadi's the one who died like a dog. He said that was us. That was CIA.
Yeah.
Those two characters. That's huge.
That is huge. Hey, Craig the Hunter, good to see you.
How you doing?
Mountain Man, when that was going, we had 772 people watching.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It was crazy. I couldn't keep up.
Yeah. That's right, B-Dog. He said, we did that.
Yeah.
Soleimani and al-Baghdadi. And that ties right back to McStain. We don't say his name. All will get what they deserve. That's right.
Wow. Now we just wait on the boomerang.
Well, that's in itself two things. He left the door open on what happened to Epstein, and he said that the CIA was involved with both those characters I just mentioned. And then the third thing was Civil War.
Yeah.
And the other thing was when he was asked if they were going to try to KILL him, he said they're vicious.
Yeah.
In other words, yes, they would try that. They already have. So I don't know, somebody listening to his answers, it's pretty strong statements for somebody that is being put in a position tomorrow where he's going to be right in the rat hole jail.
These people are sick. These people are sick.
He said Biden was compromised and a Manchurian candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much more plump and plain he could be about that.
Yeah.
And he mentioned Penn University. Now, that's where I was talking about the doctors that got arrested.
Yeah.
For the, quote, research on, quote, bags of cells that were living, namely intact human beings, well past gestation, namely a living infant that they called a bag of cells. More than one. And that's going to come out. He said, people get it. People get it. And he said, with the election, he said, flat out, they stole it.
Yeah, he did. And Bauer, what a shyster he is, huh? To save his own skin.
He said it was petrified over being impeached.
Petrified, that's it. Mm-hmm.
That's another way of saying he was menaced.
He's bought and paid for.
Well, people that are bought and paid for, they usually aren't petrified and terrified. I think he was threatened.
Well, I think they got something on him. Like a blackmail.
You never know.
Yeah. Just my guess.
And he talked about Kamala talking in a nursery rhyme cadence, and he said she's just not going to work out. Chances are, they're going to kick her out. Joe and Kamala is their problem. And the more Joe gets put up before the world, the more obvious it is and the other thing that Trump said is very important was Joe's not running the show. Somebody else is. He said that plain as day. So yeah, it covered a lot of grounds, answered a lot of questions. Well, I wonder what he meant by I call him instead of Asa Hutchinson, I call him Ada. And what's his name? Tucker said, "Why do you call him Ada?" And Trump said, "Well, I call him Ada, but I'm not going to say why. It's just not the time for it or place for it." I wonder why he calls him Ada instead of Asa. Probably, I don't know. Probably, like, why do they call Lindsey Graham Auntie Lindsay? I don't know.
Let's see.
And he's talking about when he fired Comey, he called it a flat out coup. And it was like throwing a rock in a hornet's nest. And they asked him, "Well, how are you going to get rid of how are you going to get things past the EPA that are, causing us to making us buy washers that don't work, faucets that don't work, toilets that don't flush?" And Trump said, "Well, it's, the same way I did with Comey, fire him." He's talking about Schedule F, firing thousands of this dead weight subversive Marxists out of our federal government. They think they're doing a job. They're doing a job, but it's not for us. It's for the cabal. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I was just reading a comment.
He was talking about Hillary at 3:02 in the morning. And he said, "Well, what does she sound like?" What, she's like, "Yeah, well, I'm not going to talk about that, but
I don't think it has to do with waking up. I mean, he could have said what he thought. I'm talking to somebody in chat. She's telling us to wake up, people. Trump isn't going to say today what really happened to Epstein. Please wake up, people.
Yeah, why would he drop a bomb like that?
Well, he told us what he thought. There's no, he came right out and said it. The one thing that got me to the Mount Man was the 8% approval rating for Chris Christie.
8%?
8% in New Jersey.
Yeah, in Jersey.
President.
In his home state.
In his own state.
Yeah, Mary said, "Isn't Ada a female name?" That's what I'm thinking. So there's something going on with Asa Hutchinson. He could be a trans. You never know. There's something going on there. Trump made a point of talking about it. I don't think it's got anything to do with military, B-Dog.
Well, ADA is a acronym for it has something to do with disability. I know that.
American Disabilities Act. Maybe that's what it is.
Americans Disability Act. There you go.
Well, I think he covered a lot of ground about as diplomatically as you could, given his current situation.
Yeah, he's kind of in a pickle, isn't he?
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do tomorrow. There's going to be a mugshot, I think.
I think so too. But here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on this. So he's going to go turn himself in. They're all the sheriff down there in Fulton County. Oh, he's going in the jail cell, and we're going to treat him like we would any other prisoner, and blah blah blah. Right? So
yeah.
So okay. So they're going to put him in a stinky pee-filled mattress cell. With what? His Secret Service? Are they going to have to take all these prisoners out and put them somewhere else? So
no, they're not going. He's not going to go near a jail cell. He's not going to be out of arm's length of the Secret Service, and they're going to take a picture of him. Hey, they took a picture of a half a dozen other ones today. Trump's going to be, hey, where's my picture? I want one. He's going to turn that picture around to serve him. It's like he said, every time they do something about him, to him like that, it just makes him stronger. But he's not. No, he's not going to go into jail cell.
Well,
He'll go into receiving office. Probably have a counter there, and they'll do the stupid fingerprint crap. And then you stand where the symbol of the sheriff's department is off to the, I think, the left side of your head, and they take a mugshot, and that's it. He's not gonna get cuffed. Nothing like that. No.
They're going to go in a holding cell. Or,
No, absolutely not.
He's going to treat him just like he would any other prisoner.
That's a bunch of bunch of talk from that sheriff. They're doing mugshot, and that's it. They're not going to cuff him. They're not going to do any of that stuff. Now this Marxist judge, Herman Munster, I don't know. Trump hadn't said a word about how he's doing or how he's handling the case or anything, but I'm sure at some point, all these characters, like I said, they're making a list, checking it twice. Not just judges, prosecutors, DAs, but attorneys. I used to get, I'd be looking at these things, Midas crap, and these attorneys I featured on my show. Hey, let them dig their own hole, because what they're doing is they're inciting vitriol, and the positions that they're taking. If they wrote a thesis in order to get a law degree or graduate from law school and wrote a thesis that had the points they're making in the YouTube videos that they're putting out to the public as legal and factual, they would not get a degree. And as far as I'm concerned, you cannot behave that way and hold a law degree. You cannot publicly make those types of statements and declarations and hold a law degree. So, hey, internet's forever. Keep posting that crap. Same with doctors who tell people certain things. We won't go over it because of the rhythm, but certain things you have to do. Hey, just compile their social media, their reports, anything like that. And hey, we've reviewed it, and you are too incompetent to hold a physician's license. You're too incompetent to have a law degree, a law license. So get out of here.
Outlandish Patriot wants to know: do you think Trump will give thumbs ups in his mugshot?
No. I think he's going to have that. You look at Rudy Giuliani's mugshot.
Yeah.
Rudy Giuliani, if I saw him looking at me the way he was looking at me, my thought would be, uh-oh, he's pissed at me.
Oh, he's coming.
Yeah. And I think Trump is going to, they're probably saying, how should you look in your mugshot? I think he's going to have an expression on his face with, ASS kicker is what I'm saying he's going to look like.
He's going to be so mad. This is such, I don't know. Mr. Trump, Mr. President Trump made my life so great when he was in office. I'm going to be honest. I mean, what he did even with the taxes on paychecks and the payroll taxes. And I was living good when he was in office. And he doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink. He from what I understand, it looks like to me, he plays by the law and rules, right?
Right.
What in the Sam Hill? This is just ludicrous. I'm going to be very mad tomorrow. I can tell you that.
Well, with the thousands that he's going to get rid of in the federal government, that is going to, it's going to be upheaval, just like Newt Gingrich was saying. And you're going to have incompetent people that have positions in a do-nothing jobs with these stellar wages and benefits and security and a feathered nest that's going to get yanked right out from under them, and they're going to have to live in the real world. We're going to have to deal with that. But we have thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands of retirees. A lot of them did good jobs and deserved what they got. Didn't get involved in politics, did their jobs as government employees. I'm not going to take anything away from that, but you're going to have a lot of people, that entitled people who were getting the gravy just because they sang the party line. They're going to be out of luck, and there's going to be upheaval with that. So, it's coming. What we do at a local level, that has to be taken care of too. I talked about that in the past on my broadcast. You had in the late 90s, early 2000s, and especially after Obama got elected, you had a coordinated push to have local governments, counties, and all this put in their contracts for their government employees huge compensation lump sums. If they leave their job for any reason, they get like 50 grand or 100 grand lump sum. And if they go move to another town and work for that county in another state, they have this apparatus where they can compile their time at all these different towns and counties that will be credited toward their pension at the end. So in other words, you could be a F up, okay? Get fired, get 100 grand, go to the next county, do the same thing, and it's like it never even happened. And say you survive 4 years at one place, they get sick of you and throw you out. You get your 100 grand, you go to another place in another state somewhere, a municipality hires you. You're there for 4 years. That's considered 8 years at the same job. I got somebody texting me. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? They built in the superiority. I'd have to think of the proper term for it. That where bureaucrats are insulated and isolated, separated, and elevated above the average citizen. That's how you have a bureaucratic class. That's how you end up with Marxism, okay, in your local government. Because they're going to protect themselves. And they will do whatever it takes to protect themselves. And they don't even realize it. All they care about is, because what are they going to do? What are they going to do if they're out of their job as coming in and sitting behind a desk drinking coffee all day at the town hall and doing nothing except aggravating somebody over how tall their grass is?
Well, that's
what are they going to do? Huh?
That's already happening. I mean, that happens.
Yeah, but that's been going on. It started in the late 90s and up and really kicked into gear when Obama got elected. Now you have this explosion of bureaucrats in local government. That's all got to get taken care of.
Yeah. We need smaller government.
But, what are they going to do? A good day's work could kill them.
Yeah. They wouldn't know a good day's work if it bit them in the butt.
Right. Working in pie factories, they got a bite out of every pie. Anyway, let's see. So anyway.
You got anything else, Mountain Man?
Well, everybody can take a look at Maui, and there's what bureaucracy gets you.
Yeah.
a desire to destroy your property and then take it from you, and then act like you're a hero and ask for federal money. That's what it's all about. That's it in a nutshell. That's right, Jerry Lee said it is a mafia. That's exactly right. They don't even realize it. A lot of them think they're, they get taught in schools that this is the way it's supposed to be. In these universities, they get taught that because universities teach Marxist philosophy.
They sure do.
That's why Trump said he was going to get rid of all the Marxists and maniacs. So, anyway.
So you think tomorrow he's going to go in, going to get his mugshot, fingerprint, and out the door he's going to go?
That's what I would think would be ideal.
Well,
but that doesn't count surprises.
Yeah.
Always expect the unexpected and don't be shocked.
I wish we knew what time he was turning himself in.
Well, that's probably, not going to be made known to the public.
Oh, they got a live cam sitting on that courthouse waiting for him to walk through the door. It's been there for days.
Yeah, they have the streets blocked off, and he can come rolling in whenever. And in so many words, it's going to be, listen, Mr. Trump doesn't have to be ready for you. You need to be ready for Mr. Trump. And that's going to be communicated, I think, to the judge and to that sheriff.
Some people are saying 6 p.m. Some people are saying 3 p.m. Are we talking Eastern Standard Time? What are we talking here?
Probably Eastern Standard Time, yeah, because Georgia's Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, they are. That's right, John Dunning. He says, remember, these are the same people that put Jesus on the cross.
That's right, a bunch of Pharisees.
All right, Mountain Man. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. And I thank you, everybody, for coming and watching and being in the chats.
Yeah, and I want to I was going to thank everybody for coming, and I want to thank my mods. You guys did awesome tonight. Thank you so much. I know it was a lot, and I'm going to take us out again with Oliver Anthony, if you guys didn't hear it earlier.
Oh, I was good. That's what I was trying to do when I got dropped off. I was trying to find a picture I had. I wanted to email you. You could put on the screen while you're playing Oliver Anthony. I wanted to email it to you. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I can't put the two things up at once, though.
Oh, you can't? You couldn't, like a picture overlay?
No.
Oh, darn. It was a picture of Trump with a red beard and a banjo.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but anyway, I'm going to go live tomorrow night.
I dropped your link. So.
Oh, you did? Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got the picture right here.
Everybody go subscribe to Mountain Man. And all right.
You want me to email you this picture?
Yeah, you can email it to me. I just won't be able to put it up tonight, but I would love to see it. You guys are all very welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight. It was nice having you guys all here with us. Let's see. Okay. Right. Here we go. Have a good night, everyone.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world. with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, 'cause the rich men. I wish politicians look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, north of rich men. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Ha ha ha.